going to be all working sort of side by side, doing a lot of benching, but you want to spread out. We're 3/4 of a mile in where we're going to be working, so it's hard to get you out should you get injured. I mean, not that we can't. But... So we are trying to find the best path. It's hidden down this steep glacial cirque to get a nice mountain bike trail in that is has nice flow, is not too steep, and makes people happy. My name is Matt Bowser, and I represent Central New Hampshire, the Central New Hampshire chapter of the New England Mountain Bike Association. So New England Mountain Bike Association is a consortium of, I don't know how many chapters there are. There's probably upwards of 30 chapters now all over New England. The chapters are loosely organized around geographical regions. So Central New Hampshire, we basically cover from Concord north to the Lakes region. Yeah, so it's a group of basically passionate bikers who love riding in the woods and working to build sustainable trails. When water does fall, it's not going to either pool in the trail or run down the length of the trail, because what that does is it just picks up speed and ends up washing stuff out. So you want the water to travel laterally or perpendicular to the flow of the trail. You know, it's a beautiful area. I've spent a lot of time out here in the past couple of weeks, and you know, just sitting here alone, you can't really hear anything outside of this little bowl. It's really kind of a special place.
The Knowlton family, who this is going to be named after, contacted us about 3 years ago and asked us whether the city wanted to buy it, and we already had a pretty extensive trail network up here, so we thought it would be a really good addition, and so this is why it's here.
One of the sort of challenges here are the steep slopes, and when you're building trails, I mean, there's a lot of hiking trails and mountain bike trails that go straight up we call it the fall line. It's basically the steepest part of the hill, which is fine for about 2 weeks until you get your first good rainstorm. And all of that becomes an erosional nightmare, and the trail is not sustainable. And what happens is people have to come out and, you know, either do maintenance, or it becomes, you know, irreparable at that point and they have to reroute. So when we're building trails, our sort of NEMBA ethos is to build something that's sustainable, that's going to last and give people some good enjoyment. So by doing that, we have to find some shallower slopes in these areas that are maybe trickier to find, but that's how we do it. You don't want to do a vertical. You don't want a vertical cut, because that'll just undercut and it'll just erode away. So if you want to start here and grab a couple of people, how many people do you have left? Right here. What you see. All right.
So we're cutting this side, so when we ride, it's a little bit more flatter. We can ride up through here. This is going to have to be filled and raised a little bit, and then we're kind of just cutting it in, so it's not so much like a slope the whole time. Okay. Right.
So we started in 2018 with one of the trails at Broken Ground that's been named Riseway, and the city was just starting a new process where they wanted to get outside partners to help with some of their considerable acreage for managing and maintaining some of the trail systems, when they realized that, you know, they just didn't have enough people.
I've been on it for probably 28 years now. So in that time, we have probably saved close to 2,000 acres and built probably over 80 miles of trails. It's been a very rewarding thing to do, and I think it's benefited Concord a lot too.
We went through this process. They were working out new details along the way. So there's several committees. There's the Conservation Commission and the Trails Committee, and you make a proposal to them, and then it goes through the various channels, and then, you know, you work with the city back and forth. You know, Beth and I work very close together, you know, making sure that all the public hearings were satisfied. I do substantial amounts of field work to develop the trail before we even break ground. I probably did 50 GPS tracks in here before I came up with most of the lines here. A lot of them were just changing in the past 2 weeks even. You know, it changes very fast. When you open up a new section, once you're building, you realize, oh, well, that's not going to work. So yeah, the working with the city of Concord's been great because they've been patient, and we've got a good partnership going.
Why do you think it's important to work with the city of Concord or with your other local communities rather than saying, hey, there's a piece of land here, I've been riding out here forever, I want to build my own trail?
Well, that's a huge problem, and one that we're hoping to correct through outreach like this. A lot of people think, and we had a question. One of the people today just said, "Can I, on some land, can I just build trails?" I'm like, "Well, no, you can't. The step number one is you have to find out who owns the land. Contact the land manager, find out who that is, and then start developing a relationship with them. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to be patient. Fortunately, I am very patient. But over time, you can develop these relationships, and each time it gets easier. Once the trust has been established, now Concord knows that NEMBA is doing a great job with maintaining and managing these trail systems and building them out, utilizing all the necessary resources to build something that's sustainable and fun for everyone. So.
And I'm a mountain biker, which is how I sort of got into the whole thing to start with. Actually, the first property we really looked at was the Wynett property, because I live over on that side of the city, and I thought it was just amazing that this land existed and so close to houses, but it was all private land at that time, so it's just been a very slow process of convincing landowners they ought to either sell it or give it to us, and the Wynett family was very generous and gave us 85 acres in there. St. Paul's has been great to cooperate with, and they've helped us, a lot of our trails run on their property. So yeah, it's been a slow process, but
it's been an impressive result.
It's everything. I'm also on the board of a land trust, and I tell you, the whole thing is about being persistent. That's these things take time. A lot of times families don't want to get rid of properties until a family member's died, or an estate needs to be settled, or something like that happens, and then the people want to do something with their land.
If anyone likes carrying rocks up a hill, is it Sisyphus?
Yeah.
So that's basically what this is. It's basically a chain gang. It's hard labor. So some of the trails that we build, like Franklin Falls, is another area that I manage, and we call it rake and ride. Basically, it's all sand. You basically point through the woods, get a rake, you rake it out, and it's a trail. It's a little different here. We've had a little bit of rake and ride here further down, but up in this very active geological area from the glaciers, it's tough work. There's a lot of cutting into banks to make sure that the slope is stabilized, a lot of rocks to remove and move, so it's hard labor. I appreciate everyone coming out today.
We're trying to go from the downhill and flow kind of flattish, then it's going to go up and around. We'll probably build a berm on the corner there, and then it's going to flow down there. So it's awesome, though. I love mountain biking, so to give back is great.
That's awesome.
It's really good.
I like to ride. I like new places to ride, and the best way to get new places is to go and put the sweat in, so you can sweat later. Make this my community. It's part of my community. And you pitch in where you can. Having a place right here that I can go ride after work.
It's pretty sweet.
Love that. And it's always more fun to ride something you built.
I am not a mountain biker. I'm a hiker.
Okay.
And I just finished my 4-season 48. Part of the requirement for that accomplishment is to also give back 48 hours of trail work. And this one is right in my backyard. I live right down the road. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to meet some locals and give back locally and fulfill my requirements and learn more about the with the backyard that is right behind my house.
Mountain biking community is a great community. It's a lot like hikers. Hikers are a great community too. People are positive. It's so fun to ride the trails afterwards, and and think, gee, I remember moving that rock or building that bridge, or it just gives us a sense of pride and contribution. It's part of the sport, and makes you feel a little more connected.
So if you go to www.nemba.org, there's links to all the various chapters. Our chapter is in there, and if you drill down into there, you'll find contact information for us. We also have an email listserv that we've got about 350 people that we send out periodic email blasts when we're going to have a trail day. So if you sign up on the NEMBA site, you'll get those email blasts. So we don't publish them often, but when we do, we hope we get a good turnout, just like today.